Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Tearing It Up podcast. Episode 7. Let's get it. So if you're watching this right now, either on YouTube or if you're looking at the video, you can probably tell, like, where am I? Well, we are in the new apartment. I am in my new bedroom. I guess I should say our new bedroom. It's no longer just mine anymore. It's mine and Rafa's new bedroom. We don't have a bed frame yet. We don't have bedside tables yet. We do have a lamp from Rafa's old apartment, so we're getting somewhere with that. But I'm just sitting on the mattress on the floor. We got a king size mattress, but we have queen size bedding, so we don't even have bedding that like fits this mattress yet, but we will soon. It's coming. We got it from Cozy Earth and it'll be here any day now. Oh my God, I feel like so much has happened in the last few weeks of my life, and I haven't really been able to like sit down and just be like, wait, what's going on, and reflect and like take a minute to like compose myself. It's truly been such a crazy month with travel, work, going home, being with family, having Rafa there, coming back, and then the second we landed, we immediately had to like go get the mattress. We started moving 10 hours later. Shout out to the movers I used though. All my sons, they were amazing. If it weren't for them, I don't know what I would have done, because I have so much shit that I needed moved. But we immediately jumped into moving. The last week has been moving chaos, and Rafa works in the office most of the week, so I'm pretty much here alone all week, and I've just been organizing and unpacking. But it's hard because we don't have furniture, and I feel like, you need furniture to organize. Like, we don't have like a TV stand to put stuff in, or like literally any furniture. We don't have bedside tables, so right now shit's just all over the floor still. But I did get like my shower, my makeup, skincare. I got that organized, and I'm loving our new bathroom. I'm gonna do like a full apartment tour once it's done, probably on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, but I'm really loving our new bathroom. It has more storage than my old apartment had, which has been amazing. And I love that the litter boxes are now across the apartment, in the other end of the apartment, in the laundry room. I've lived with the litter boxes in my either closet or bathroom ever since I got my cats, and it's just been so nice. Not every single time I'm getting ready in the morning, having a litter box in there. It's just been really a true blessing. But it's been chaos, and I feel like I just like unpacked the last box yesterday. So now I can finally just like sit down, talk to you guys, let's catch up. I have some fun, well, I don't know if it's fun, but I have some interesting things I want to talk about today. So I finished unpacking my stuff yesterday, but Rafa actually began his move like 2 days ago. So we moved all my stuff first because my lease ended first, and then his ends in like 4 or 5 days. So now he's moving. So just when I thought like it was over, now he has to move. But luckily, like, he's unpacking. I mean, I'll help him a little bit, but like he's gonna unpack a lot of his stuff, I think, because I don't even know where he wants to like put his boxers and shit. You know what I mean? So luckily, he's figuring that out kind of on his own right now. I offered to help, but he was like, honestly, I think it's just easier if I do it, because I need to go through like what I want to get rid of, what I want to donate, so I've been helping here and there, mainly with moral support and like bringing him food and stuff. But by Thursday, we will both be fully moved into this place, thank God. And I know these last 2 episodes have been a little bit bootleg. Like, they've been me laying on a bed. Either the last one was in my childhood room, and this one's just on this mattress. I will be back in the podcast studio at some point soon, but I was like, you know what, it's the most convenient for me to just record here today because I'm still so much transition chaos. But we will be back at the studio at some point, especially when I have my next guest on, because it's a little bit difficult to have guests on when you're not in the studio. Because like when I had Rafa on last week, I don't know if you guys heard it, but there was definitely some like mic issues. It was kind of hard to hear him at some points. The microphone was like picking up every time we moved on the bed. So we won't always have it like this. I'll probably go back to the studio, although I do want to invest in like good podcast equipment and potentially do it here at some point once we have like some chairs to sit in, but that's something I'm not figuring out yet. Right now I'm just trying to figure out like what rugs do we don't have rugs, we don't even have a recycling bin. Like, I'm just trying to get through that part right now. But thank you guys for being patient with me. I feel like I haven't been putting all my all into content the last few weeks because of all this transitions that have been going on and how busy I've been, and I miss like uploading vlogs and being more consistent and like sharing more things with you guys, and I feel like I haven't been able to do that because we've been so busy. But it's coming. Thank God we are back in Austin. I'm back in Austin until November, I think, is the next time we leave, which is for Rafa's marathon in New York. So back in Austin for 2 months. I'm just excited to chill the fuck out and make this place a home. It does not feel like home right now. I've had really weird mixed feelings being here. Like, I love it. I'm so happy with the place. But you know when you have like a big change in your life and you have this just like pit in your stomach, and like maybe it's an exciting, like this is an exciting, fun, happy change, but I still have this weird pit in my stomach of like just that feeling of it feeling different. And it's so weird now that like we live together. I still just am not used to it yet. And it's been so good, but it also, I just have this weird pit of like the unknown. I don't know. It's weird. I'm hoping it goes away soon, but ever since, I think it's also just the fact that we don't have like furniture and it doesn't feel like home. So I've had this weird pit of like, it doesn't just feel right yet, but I know it will at some point. Also, Rafa's just been gone so much because of work and stuff and marathon training that I feel like he's only here for like a couple hours at night and then we have to go to sleep. So we honestly feel like we haven't gotten to spend that much time together in the new space, which kind of sucks because on the weekends, again, we're like packing, moving, donation, selling, Facebook Marketplace. They really didn't lie when they said moving is one of the top 5 most stressful things in life. And we don't even have children and it's been stressful. I can't imagine like moving with kids and shit. The cats, really quick, the cats. Okay, so Cowboy, he's actually on the he's actually on the bed right now. I don't know if you can see him, but he's usually the chillest, most relaxed, easygoing cat. Like, he is a chiller. And I think he's having anxiety since we moved. And I've never really seen this in him. So it's very interesting. And also I feel very bad for him. But he's always so chill. Like, the second I get in bed, he gets in bed with me. We cuddle. We sleep all night. He lays in bed with me until I wake up. Like, he's never annoying at night. So chill. Ever since we moved in, he's been crying and wailing at night and being like, "Meow, meow," and like climbing things and digging in boxes and knocking things over like while we're trying to sleep, obviously trying to like wake us up and get us up. And he's never done this before since I've had him. And so I think the vet would probably tell me like, oh, it's a sign of anxiety in the new space that he's doing this and like he's acting out. I'm like talking about him like he's my kid, but I literally think he's like super anxious. Even though we've been here over a week, I don't think they've adjusted yet. And I do feel a little bit bad because I think the no furniture thing is kind of weird for them. It's like they're just in this big open space. We do have a couch. It's my old couch, but that's literally it. So it's just like a couch in a big open space. We haven't cat-proofed the balcony yet, so they can't really go out there. We still have to like put netting and cat-proof that. So I feel bad for the kitties, guys. I might need to take them to the vet and see if I can like get them some sort of thing that helps them chill out a little bit. I don't know. If anyone has any recs, let me know in the comments or DM me or something, because I feel bad. I feel like they're anxious. Whiskey seems pretty fine, but it's Cowboy that's like, he's just been crying. And I don't know. Homeboy's still just adjusting, you know? This morning I went and dropped off my keys at my old apartment. I got the whole apartment cleaned. She was looking brand new. I can't believe, I feel like I had so much just stuff and layers in that apartment of like, just shit that I was keeping that I didn't need, and mail and papers and like just shit. Like, I had clutter and I just can't believe everything is out of there. Like, I thought, how the hell is this ever going to happen? You know, like, do you ever just look at your space and you're like, how am I going to get out of here? How? It took a lot of fucking trips there and back, and obviously having movers, but we're out. I got it cleaned. I turned in the keys this morning, which felt really good. I was like, here they are. I obviously fine to share where I live now that I don't live there anymore, but I lived at Amley South Shore in Austin. So when I first moved to Austin, I lived at the Marlowe, which is like 2 blocks from Amley South Shore. I loved the Marlowe. I was really drawn in by like the amenities. It was a newer building. They had a really nice rooftop pool. That's like what really sold me when I first saw it online. I moved there sight unseen. I never had toured it, never had seen a unit, nothing. Like, I just saw it on the internet and I was like, okay, I signed a lease, moved to the Marlowe. I loved the Marlowe. It was a great building, very young, very fun. I used all the amenities. It has an amazing gym. But then I moved there with my ex-boyfriend. When we broke up, I stayed in the apartment until the like lease ended, and then they raised my rent too much and I couldn't afford it just by myself. It was like gonna be over $2,000 to be living alone, and at the time with the job I was working and stuff, I could not afford that rent on top of everything else, and Austin's so damn expensive. So I moved to Amley, which was like 2 blocks away from Marlowe, and I got a bigger unit. It was still a 1-bedroom, but it was bigger, and loved that unit. It had great natural light. I looked out to like the little dog park. I had Noble Joe, really good little coffee truck. that I could walk to. It was right in front of my unit. It was so nice. And if you live at Amley, you live right on the trail. That was honestly my favorite thing about living at the building was just being right on the trail. So I was on the trail all the time. Don't live on the trail anymore, so it is kind of a weird adjustment not having that, because I was so used to just like getting up and going on the trail. But I lived on the trail for 3 years of living in Austin, so I feel like I really did get my trail time, and like I'm fine with parting ways with it. Although honestly, the trail like made my time in Austin. Like I feel like it's been such an important part of my time in Austin. Like I love it. I would spend every weekend out on the trail. It's like something that really made me fall in love with this city when I moved here. And I feel like if I didn't have that, I don't know how happy I would have been in both of those apartments. It was a game changer, but loved that apartment. Honestly, don't have a ton negative to say other than just like, you know, when you live at like a place with a massive apartment management company, they're kind of assholes. They charge you for stupid shit. They show no remorse. They lose your packages and then they tell you to go get fucked. Like that kind of thing. Like it was a little bit annoying. Like, but for the most part, I had a good experience and I really liked my unit. Very young building, a lot of young people. Not the case where we live now. It's not as many young people, which I kind of like because it's just a little bit quieter and more low key. Because sometimes when you live in those younger buildings, especially in Austin, like, you know, there's just like beer cans and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And like, oh my God, another thing about Amley, actually, this is one thing I really didn't like, is that, well, every single person at that building has dogs. Like, I swear to God, every resident has a dog. I think it's because there's a dog park, there's a green space, it's on the trail. Like, it's a very dog-friendly area. But people would just let their dogs shit in like the stairwell and in the hallways and not clean it up. It was baffling to me. Baffling. Like, how could you let your animal take a shit or pee or whatever in a public space, like a common space at your apartment building, and then just like leave it? Like, I don't get it. And it wasn't just like, oh, I saw like, you know, someone leave their dog shit one time. Like, it was a reoccurring thing that happened so much that people started like printing out posters and being like, don't be a piece of fucking shit and pick up your dog shit. I don't know why people do that. If you're the type of person that lets your dog shit in the stairwell of your apartment building and you just walk away, like, actually go to hell. The amount of people who stepped in it, that was the thing that annoyed me. I love dogs. I love pets. I have 2 of them, but that building is almost like overrun with animals. Like, outside, the second you stepped outside, all the grass, it was like fake grass in a lot of the areas, and just like reeked of piss in the summer because it was so hot. And then it would just like smell like piss and shit pads. So I guess I do have some negative things to say, but we're on to bigger and better things. Not that much bigger though. This is only a 2-bedroom, so it's not like massively bigger than the old place, but I do think it's the perfect size for Rafa and I, and I just can't fucking wait to furnish it once the furniture comes in. Enough blabber from me, because I feel like I actually don't have that many exciting life updates, because truly it's just all my brain's been focused on is moving, getting settled, getting my shit together, getting my life together. But something I've been thinking about recently is, I remembered that I posted this video on TikTok back in December talking about things that I wanted to leave in 2023 and not bring with me into 2024, like New Year's resolutions and stuff. And I basically just talked about like some lessons that I learned in 2023, what I'm not going to bring with me into this year. And to be honest with you guys, who has failed New Year's resolutions? Because I fucking do. I think I do every single year. And I feel like everyone does, right? Or am I alone in that one? Like, do people actually always stick to their New Year's resolutions? No, right? But I wanted to reflect on some things that I said I was not going to bring with me into 2024. Some of these resolutions I have done successfully, only a couple, but majority of them I don't feel like I've done successfully. And I want to talk about failing at things and why some of these things are still affecting my life. Back in December, this video got a good amount of traction. I think it has like a little under 1 million views, and a lot of people related to it. So I thought it'd be something interesting to reflect on, since we are 9 months into the year. Yeah, we're 9 months into the year, and I have not had a perfect 2024 by any means. Also, if you want to go watch the TikTok that I'm talking about, I'll put it in the description. But the first thing that I mentioned in that video was that I wanted to leave one-sided friendships in 2023. And what I mean by one-sided friendships is, last year I felt like I had a few friendships where I would hang out with the person and it felt like I was interviewing them. Like, it just, you know, when you just are friends with someone or you meet someone and all they want to do is talk about themselves, and like you'll go out to dinner with them and you'll have a conversation and you realize like, wait, you haven't asked me a single question this entire dinner. Like I don't know. I really pick up on those things because when people do ask me questions, it means so much. Like when someone's like, how about you? Like, how are you doing? Or what do you do? Like that, I always clock those things because I'm like, wow, this person's actually interested in me and getting to know me. And I've really, really tried to be someone who asks questions, tries to get to know people, shows interest, like doesn't just ask questions and then doesn't listen to the answer and just waits to talk. Like I've really tried to be someone that like, yeah, I care about you. I want to know about you. I want to ask questions, but also I really appreciate when people do it back. And I noticed that I had a lot of friendships last year where like we would hang out for an hour. Let's say we were like walking the trail or something. And I'm like, this person literally didn't ask me anything. Like never once was like, hey, how are you doing? Like, or something big would have happened in my life. Like, I don't know, let's say I had like a big job change, like, cause I had a few career changes last year. And like that person didn't even ask me about it. Like shit like that, where it's like, you really don't fucking care about me and you just want to talk about that yourself. And that's something that I really wanted to leave last year and not bring into this year. And I do think I have done a good job at that. I do think I still have a couple lingering one-sided friendships where it feels like I care way more about them than they care about me. But I'm trying to recognize those things and distance myself in just like a polite, low-key way of like, I'm just gonna give you some distance right now. I'm not gonna like say, oh, you know, you don't ask me questions or care about my life, so I don't want to be friends. More so just like keep them at a distance. You know, it's not like, oh, harsh. We need a harsh friendship breakup. It's more just like, I'm going to distance myself from you. And typically people kind of get the hint there. You know what I mean? I'm not that confrontational, and it's definitely something that is annoying. And I wish I was more confrontational. I'm a Libra. Libras are known to not be the most confrontational people. That's something I've really tried to work on. So I can struggle a bit with confrontation, and sometimes I do distance myself too much, and maybe those people are left with like questions of like, why are we distant now? But I don't know, when it comes to this topic and the one-sided friendship thing, like there's some people that I feel like didn't even care about me from the get-go. So I'm like, do I even owe you an explanation? Like, not really. And most of those friendships weren't like long-term people that I've been friends with for a long time. Like people I'd met and like kind of became friends with, and I realized like, I don't think we're gonna be friends. And that's just part of your 20s. It's like in high school and in college, you're forced to be around people. You're in these environments where like you see the same people constantly. So you're friends with people that like maybe you don't actually like, you know, maybe you don't actually have that much in common or like really vibe that much, but you just are because you're in the same environment. But like in your 20s, you don't have to do that. If you don't feel like there's a connection there, you don't have to be friends with them. And that's something that I've learned and I love. I can pick to be friends with who I know cares about me, and I don't have to be friends with the people who don't give a shit about me. So that one, I actually do think I've done a decent job at. Now, the next thing that I really wanted to talk about today is looking at old pictures and comparing myself to my old self, but also comparing myself to others on social media. The first part I want to talk about is comparing myself to my old pictures or my old self. I feel like every girl does this, and if you don't, like, tell me your recipe, because how? But every single year of my life, I swear I look at a picture of myself from the year before, 2 years before, 3 years before, and I think, oh my God, I looked so much prettier. I looked skinnier. I looked more fit, or my skin looked better. Like my hair looked better. I always do this every single year. And it's funny because I'm looking back at a picture of myself that I thought I looked better in. But in that time period, I'm also looking back at old pictures of myself thinking that I looked better. Like I always do that. It's weird because I feel like my self-confidence the last year has been really good up until recently. And I don't know if it's because I've kind of fallen out of routine with how I've been eating and working out and stuff. But I've been looking in the mirror and I've been like, ugh, like I haven't loved what I've been seeing, which is so weird because this isn't something I've struggled with in a while. I definitely have it in my life for sure, but I haven't struggled with it in the last like year or so. I feel like I've been feeling pretty good, but recently I've been like, oh my God. And I was going through like old pictures and stuff on the plane. I've been looking at them and I'm like, bitch, like why did you look so much better last year or the year before? Like I've been doing so much of that comparison and it pisses me the fuck off. Like I said I wanted to leave that in 2023. I didn't leave it in 2023. I'm still fucking doing it in 2024. I hate it. It's such a toxic cycle. I just have to accept that like I'm 25 now and my body looks different. My hair, like so many things look different than how it did when I was like 21. And I can't keep looking back at pictures of me when I was like 21 or whatever, 22 and being like, why don't I look like that? Like I feel like so much changes with your body between like 22 and 25, especially for me. And I just have to accept like this is what I look like now. and I need to stop doing that. And I know I need to stop doing that, but I'm just like toxic with it. And I keep like doing that. I keep comparing myself to myself. Like, bitch, are you serious? It's so annoying. So that's something I feel like I haven't been great at. And then comparing myself to others on social media. Oh my God, this is something I said I really want to leave in 2023. Something I've struggled with a lot since starting social media is like, I'll go in waves where I'm like not doing it, and then I am doing it, and it really fluctuates. However, I think I had a good start to the year without doing this. Like, I was doing a good job, but recently I have been doing it, and I feel like lost in the sauce. I don't know if any other people that like make content, or even not just making content, but like, you know, when you're just observing so many different people's lives, like you're observing a girl who, let's say, eats really well and works out a lot and goes to those Pilates classes where they're dripping fucking sweat down to like, I've been seeing those videos on my For You page a lot of like these girls dripping sweat in Pilates, and I'm like, do I want to? And I just start to question my reality. It was like, and I'm like, is that who I want to be? Should I be this like super fit person who eats really well? But then I'll like scroll and see someone who is like, you know, a hiker and like minimalist and, you know, fucking has a farm in her backyard, and I'm like, I think that's what I want. Actually, that's who I want to be. But then I'll scroll and see someone that like lives in New York and wears like this cute preppy outfit and goes and gets espresso martinis with her friends. I'm like, wait, no, maybe that's what and I'm like, we're fed so many different types of lifestyles on social media, which I love. I think that's so cool. I love that so many different people can share their lives on it, and that's literally what I do. But then sometimes I get lost in the sauce of like, who am I? What do I like? And I'm still figuring this out. Because there's days where I'm like, I want to be this girl. And then the next day, maybe I'm observing other lives on social media. I'm like, well, maybe. And I'm starting to like lose sight of like, what do I actually like? What do I actually want? And it's really weird because I feel like I want to be a little bit of everything. Like, I want to be granola and go on hikes. But then I also want to get dressed up and go drink espresso martinis in New York City. But then I also want to go be a Pilates girly, but also like I'm fucking lazy a lot of the time. Like, I also want to like start cooking and be in like a Nara Smith era, but like I also don't even know how to like fucking cook chicken correctly. So I feel like I haven't been necessarily comparing myself in like terms of appearance wise with others on social media. I mean, I do that here and there, but it's more like lifestyle. Like, I'm in this place where I just don't feel like I've fully figured myself out yet at 25. And I know that's normal. I know you shouldn't have it all figured out. Like, I asked my friend Jade, who's 35, I'm like, did you feel like you like knew who you were at 25? And she was like, no, but like I do now. So I know it's just going to take time, but I honestly don't feel like I know who I am yet. I really don't. Like, I don't know what I want to, not what I want to be in terms of like career, but I just don't know like what type of person I am fully yet. And what I'm still figuring out like what I like and don't like. And I think it can get so blurry with social media when you're fed so many different types of people and lifestyles and things. Let's say like even sometimes like I don't know, try a lip gloss and I'm like, oh, it's a cute lip gloss. And then I'll see a video of someone like ragging on the lip gloss. And for a second, I'm like, wait a second, is that a bad lip gloss? Or like Addison Rae's VMA look. Like I thought she was slaying on that golf cart in that little like white outfit. And then I went online and saw people were talking shit on it. And like, you know, when you just start to question your reality and you're like, wait, that's something I said I wasn't going to do last year. And guess what, guys? I'm still doing it. So like, let's just normalize fucking failing at your New Year's resolutions. It's just so hard sometimes with social media to like, just not to be in reality and be in your own thoughts and form your own opinions and feel a certain way and not let everybody else's opinions and thoughts and impact you, because you're just scrolling and you see 8 million different things every single day. And sometimes I'm just like, what do I even, I don't know. And then I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm fucking thoughtless. Like I've seen so many different people and lives and ideas and opinions that I don't even know. I just want to take a fucking garden gummy and zone the fuck out. You know what I mean? So when it comes to physical appearance, I've been comparing myself to my old self and how I used to look. But when it comes to like lifestyle and character, I feel like I have done a lot of comparison to others on social media. And even when it comes to my own content, sometimes, you know, I see how other people do content or make videos and I'm like, I should be doing that. Or like this girl does super, let's say like cool, routine, healthy lifestyle based stuff. Should I be doing that? Because it's working for her. But then I go over here and I see some girl who's doing really like funny, like unhinged, casual content. Should I be doing that? Like, it's just so weird. Like you get so lost in the fucking sauce of what you should be doing when it comes to the content creation side, because you see so many different types of content and you're like, should I try that? Should I be doing that? And you just have to remember to like stay in your own lane, make content that and make videos that reflect who you are, even though right now I'm still like, who the fuck am I? I'm just continuously reminded that to take everything online with a grain of salt and stay true to yourself. I think something that helps with this is like journaling how you feel when you feel it and writing things down and reflecting on them, because it's so easy to just like see something and think that you should be that way. But then you're going to go try to do that and be like that person or make videos like them or mimic their lifestyle, and then it's not going to feel right. Like I feel like I've done that especially in the process of being online and doing social media, is like, watched other people's videos and like, oh, I should make content kind of similar to that. That's something I could try. Because the thing is that's so funny with social media is people are I feel like so many people just copy each other, and especially with like TikTok and stuff, like so much content looks the same. And when people get like pissed, like they make videos like me, and I'm like, everybody makes fucking day in the life vlog, ASMR, shutting the cupboard, slamming the drink. Everybody makes fucking content like that. Like nobody's copying you, babe. Like that's literally just how the internet is now. Like there's so many creators and so many people are making similar videos. I guess what I was saying is like I have tried to step out of my comfort zone with different types of content, maybe based off of what other people are making, and then it doesn't feel right, doesn't seem natural to me, and then it like doesn't work. So whether it's just in life in general or in social media or whatever, reflect on your own feelings, reflect and form opinions from you and not from everything that you're hearing on the internet. Actually sit down and think, how do I feel about this? How does this make me feel? Is this the type of person I am? I'm like giving advice as I am the one that's like failing at this subject. It's so annoying because I know a lot of the time things that I need to do and the reflections I need to have to like change and be better at these things, but yet I just don't fucking do it because I have ADHD, and ADHD is crippling. But I just want to be real with y'all and tell you that, in all honesty. It can be hard looking at other people's lives every day, even though I love doing it. I love social media. It's so fun. But sometimes I'm burnt out on like seeing so many different things and not knowing how I feel about them. And I think that's why it's so important to just take time offline. And when they say go touch grass, actually go touch grass. Because it is crazy, like the last few weeks while I've been traveling and I've spent less time on the internet, how I have been like reconnecting with my feelings and remembering how certain things make me feel and just feeling a better sense of self. When I'm online too much, I feel like I completely lose that sense of self and I start questioning everything. So if you need a little break from social media, I get it. I need them too. And maybe this should be your sign that to take the screen time down a little bit if you feel like you're constantly looking at other people and questioning who you are because of it. And I'm like, I love these creators. They're so cool. There's like, I love watching content, but it's not always good for you. It says someone who literally posts content on social media. Okay. The next thing is I said that I wanted to stop eating out as much in 2024 because I ate out so much in 2023. Y'all, I have not been good at this one. I think when I was living alone, I just ate out a lot because I don't have a good reason, actually. I'm like trying to defend myself because like, no, bitch, you don't have a good reason. However, that is coming to a close. I have been eating out a lot this year. Did not stick to that resolution whatsoever. But now that Rafa and I live together and I have someone to help me with meals, help me with cleaning, and we can like go to the store and plan out our meals, I think we're going to start eating at home a lot more. I think when I lived with my ex, I was really, really good about eating at home because it was just easier with two people. Like, you buy a pack of meat and you can actually finish it. Whereas when I lived alone, I'd buy stuff and I would never finish it. So I always like wouldn't buy things because I never thought that I would be able to finish it that week. Not a good excuse, but like it's true. And I just got really bad at cooking at home for myself because it was just me. So I was like, I can have a bagel and cream cheese for dinner. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, it's just me, or I'll just grab something easy because it's just me. Whereas when you live with someone, it's more like, all right, let's plan our meals. Let's cook. Like, I'm now, living with a man who's training for a marathon, who needs protein and food and fuel. So we are going to get back to cooking. I need to find recipes. I need to figure out what meals are going to be like in my weekly rotation. We haven't really cooked a lot yet. We've only been here a week just because, again, I'm like, don't have a good reason. We actually haven't had any time to go to the grocery store. We were going to go last night. Rafa was packing his apartment till 8 p.m. I've told him, though, I did say I'd go to the grocery store today or tomorrow. So I'm going to do that and get stuff and we're going to start cooking. But we have only cooked like 2 meals in this place. But I don't know if we should do like a meal service. I usually hate those things, like the meal services, because they market as like they're so easy, and then you get it and you're like, this isn't even fucking easy. And some of the time it's not even good. So I don't know. I need to come up with recipes, but I will say definitely have been eating out way too much up until this point. But I think that is I'm really going to try to slow down on that because one, I've been wasting fucking money on eating out. I will not stop buying my coffees out though. I don't buy coffee out every day, but I definitely do a few days a week. And that's something I'm not giving up. I'm sorry, but it makes me happy. And if it makes me happy, then it's fine. You know, like fuck, that's something that like truly brings me joy. I can't cut that out. But I do need to cut out all the takeout and shit like that. I feel like it's made me feel really bloated and just like weighed down from how much takeout and shit I've been eating, especially during travel and stuff. So I failed at that New Year's resolution until September, but now we're gonna make that one come true the last 3 months of the year. Okay, the next one was I said that I was gonna leave in 2023 like giving a shit about what people think of me, especially because, you know, last year was really the year that I started posting a lot on social media. I kind of came into being a content creator last year, and I feel like I really I cared a lot about what people thought in the beginning, and then towards the end of the year, I was letting go. Beginning of this year, I think I did a really good job of letting go of that. Something that I think plays into this is that for me, and this is just in my shoes, but y'all know I was on ADHD medication all of last year, most of this year. And it's so weird, but my experience with ADHD meds and Adderall is it always gave me this like false sense of confidence. And it made me feel more confident. And like when I took it, I don't know, my brain, I felt more confident. I didn't care. And I think that the first half of the year, I really did a good job of like not giving a shit about what people think. Cause again, like every day taking this medication, it just like gave me this sense of confidence that I actually don't think internally was there. And I think a lot of it was the medication. Y'all know I went off ADHD meds a couple months ago now. And ever since I did that, my confidence and like the care I have about what people think about me has definitely come back full swing. I've started questioning myself a lot more. And I think it's because now that I'm not on a stimulant, I really do have to spend a lot more time with my own brain and reflect a lot. And like I've spent a lot more time up in my brain since going off of ADHD meds because I'm constantly trying to like combat and work against and work both against and with my ADHD. And recently I have cared a lot more about what people think about me. I really don't like it. It's so icky. It's such an icky feeling, especially at night. I feel like I love to take garden gummies, as you guys know, and get a little bit high at night because it helps me sleep. It just like relaxes me. But at the same time, legit, I'll be sitting on my couch watching TV, and after taking like a gummy or having like a garden mocktail, and I'll be like, I need to like delete all my social media and like, what am I doing? And I'm so embarrassing. And like, I'll have these thoughts and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'll go to bed and wake up the next morning and I'm like, never mind, I'm fine. But those thoughts definitely creep in still. And they have recently more than ever, I think, because I'm just spending a lot more time raw dogging my own brain. So that's something I've definitely failed at. But I think like anyone who says, oh, in 2025, I'm not going to give a shit what people think about me. And I said that hoping it would be true, speaking it into reality. But like, I think everybody deep down cares just a little bit. I think if you don't care, that's like a little bit concerning. If you don't care at all what people think about you, I think it's healthy to care to an extent. But recently I've been caring a little bit too much, and I've been overthinking things way too much. Yeah, I just feel like sometimes when I watch myself back, I watch my videos back, I listen to the podcast back, and I'm like just questioning everything. I don't know. This isn't like an advice session, and I'm not saying like, here's how to not care what people think. I'm more just telling you the reality of like how I'm feeling, and it goes in waves for me. It really does. There's times where I feel like I truly don't care, and I'm like, whatever, this is so fun. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. And then there's times where I'm like, oh my God, I care so much what people think about me right now. And I think that's normal. And I don't think it's normal to completely not give a shit. I think what I care most about is people close to me and people that I care about, and I care about what they think about me. I do feel like I don't really give a fuck what any like stranger random people think about me. That's something I have really let go of. I think it was something I struggled with last year, but this year I do think I've done a good job of like, I really don't give a fuck about like random ass people on the internet and what they think. But I feel like I've been worried a lot more recently about like the people close to me in my life and what they think. And I think that also comes with just like questioning myself in general. And then, it leads into like, I'm kind of not feeling the best sense of self right now. So what do other people think about me? So yeah, that's something I failed at, but I think that those feelings will probably always be present and they're gonna always fluctuate, and I would be concerned if I actually didn't give a shit about what anybody thinks. The next thing that I said I wanted to do in 2024 is go to therapy. So my history with therapy is like basically none. Never in high school, never in college. I did go to psychiatrists, but I never went to therapists. And then something I told myself this year was like, I just want to start going to therapy. Not because I have some like big overarching thing I feel like I need to unpack, literally just to like try it and test it. And I'd only heard really positive things about therapy from people. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. So I got a therapist towards the beginning of this year. And I think I'd be lying if I said it's been some transformative, holy shit experience for me personally. Maybe, I don't know if that's because of like my therapist or what, but what it has been really good for me isn't that I've been receiving some astronomically helpful advice from my therapist. It's more been really good for me to figure out how to articulate my feelings about things. And that's something I feel like I don't do a lot in my day-to-day life. I don't feel like I'm great at just sitting down and articulating how I'm feeling. And something that therapy's really helped me with is her asking questions and me responding, and just speaking out the things that have been going on in my brain has helped me so much compartmentalize how do I feel about something, how am I reacting to this thing. And it honestly just makes a lot of the things in my life feel more like reality. Like sometimes I just let things live up here and I push them out. I do a really good job of pushing things away and like completely forgetting that they happened or that they're happening, and just I can just really shut things off. But therapy's really helped me put things into words, and when they go into words and I say them out loud, they become so much more real for me. And then for days after, I think about them and I actually reflect on them. So that's honestly for me been the biggest upside about going to therapy. It's literally just been being able to articulate my feelings. I don't think that my therapist has given me like life groundbreaking advice that I'm like applying every single day. I mean, she's given me some good advice. She actually helped me a lot with the podcast because it was something I talked to her about, because I was like, look, I wanted to start a podcast. I recorded a few episodes. I'm not feeling good about them. I'm nervous. I'm scared what people will think about me. I was very candid with her about how nervous I was to launch it, just about what people would think. Would I be able to stay consistent with it? Am I going to be good at it? And she really helped me realize that like, just do it. Try it. You don't have to do it forever if you don't want to. But someday you're going to, because at one point I was like, I think I'm just going to bag it. Like, I think I'm going to bag it. I think I'm taking on too much. And she was like, but are you going to look back at this in 10 years and be like, damn, you could have started that and done it and tried it, but I didn't? Or are you going to look back at it in 10 years and be like, oh, I tried to do a podcast. I started a podcast. Like, that was cool. I learned a lot from it. I got to experiment with it. And then I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. So stuff like that, like helping me, like she has helped me a lot work through making decisions in my life. And I think therapists can be really good for that. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest takeaway I've had from it is understanding how I'm feeling more and figuring out how to talk about my feelings, because I was not necessarily raised in a household where we always talked about our feelings and our emotions and everything was shared. I think I bottled in a lot, and past relationships, I also don't feel like I had that situation where I shared a lot about my feelings. Rafa really helps me pull those things out, but I can still be bad at it. So it's really changed my life in that aspect. And that I'm trying to figure out how I'm feeling, and trying like literally this year, 25 feels just like, I just want to figure out who I am. I want to figure out how I feel. Like I'm feeling like blue balled. Like I'm like, who am I? Like help. I don't feel like I felt like this in previous years of my life, but this year specifically, I've struggled so much with like articulating myself and figuring out who I am. And I know that sounds really vague, but I don't know how else to put it. But it's something that I'm working through in therapy. And if you go to therapy, or if you don't go to therapy, I highly recommend you at least try it. You don't have to do it forever necessarily if you don't want to, but I highly recommend just trying it. I do think you need to test out a few different therapists. I did test out a few before I decided on one, because you can just get one and it can be a bad experience. Then you can be like, oh, I don't want to do this, but really it's just a therapist that you're not vibing with. So you might have to shop around a bit for the therapist, but overall, I highly recommend even just talking to her about stuff about like my relationship. She's helped me a lot, like be more empathetic about things that sometimes I can be a little stubborn about. It's amazing how like you don't have to go to therapy because you have some big thing you need to unpack and discuss, or childhood trauma or something. You can just go to therapy to to figure out your everyday life too. And I've been using it for a bit of both, but it's really helped me also just try to sort out my everyday life. And then the last thing that I said I wasn't going to bring with me into 2023 was avoiding my finances. Last year, I was so avoidant of my finances. Like, I would shut my eyes the second I logged into my banking app. Like, I avoided them at all costs. I was just so bad with my finances. It's not like I was irresponsible per se, but I never wanted to think about it. I never wanted to look at it. I never wanted to get organized with it. I didn't have like any sort of investments. I didn't have like a high yield savings account. Like, I kept all my money in my like checking account. I wasn't thinking about like saving for the future, saving for emergencies. Like, I was just very avoidant when it came to my finances, and it was a topic that seemed really intimidating to me. And I said I wasn't going to do that in 2024. Now, this I have both failed and succeeded at. I think that I've failed in the sense of I still sometimes really don't want to like look and address things. And especially now that I make, money from social media too, you have to be very, very on top of your money, because a lot of the time with social media, you make money and it's gross. Like, taxes aren't taken out already. So you have to make sure that you're saving enough money to pay your taxes the next year. Something I've never had to do before, because in all my corporate jobs, taxes are taken out. You usually get a refund. Whereas now, a lot of the money that I make from social media and stuff, I have to make sure that I'm saving money for taxes. So you have to just like be very on top of it with accounting. And what's interesting about the social media world is, if you have like an agency that you work with, which I do, your agency typically takes a fee that can be anywhere from like 10 to 20% of the money you make. And then you also need to account for like 30-ish% for taxes. So let's say you have a deal for $1,000. Well, that can sound amazing right off the bat. You're like, oh my God, yay, I'm going to make $1,000. Well, in reality, if you have an agency, again, if you don't have an agency, if you don't work with an agent, it's a different situation. But in mine, I have to make sure, obviously, my agency is going to take out a chunk. And then I also need to save 30-ish% for taxes. So a lot of the time you make like 50% of what you're actually getting paid for deals when it comes to social media. So I haven't been the best with accounting and making sure that I'm saving enough. I'm trying. I actually really need to get an accountant. I had one, but I haven't talked to her in a while. I need to hit my girl up. I just have been avoiding it when it comes to like things like this, or like getting my car fixed, and like I can be so bad and so avoidant with it, and it like, bitch, it literally takes 10 minutes to sit fucking down and do it. But I haven't been the most organized with that. However, I do think I've succeeded when it comes to finances. I did finally decide to get a financial advisor, and I decided to start figuring out how to proactively save for retirement and for the long term. So I got a financial advisor with Fidelity, and it hurt me to put money that I have there, because I don't know, it just it feels like when you put money into accounts like that, it's like you're losing it, even though you're not. I know you're not, but you're not supposed to touch it for a while. You're supposed to leave it. You're supposed to let it grow. And so I'm like, you have to just put it there and forget about it almost. But it's something that I'm proud of myself for doing, because it seemed very scary and intimidating to me to invest money into guys, I don't fucking know anything about stocks and portfolios and whatnot. That's why I got a financial advisor. And I was like, look, here's what I'm willing to invest. Tell me what I should do. And he helped me. I highly recommend getting a financial advisor, because I know nothing about this topic. He had to literally explain to me what Econ 101 was again. I took it in college, don't remember jack shit from it. So I am very proud of myself in that sense. And I got a high yield savings account this year. Now, if you don't know what a high yield savings account is, it's essentially just a bank account where they give you, well, at least the one I use Wealthfront, and you earn 5%. Monthly. I don't really know what it is, but it grows 5%. This is not an ad for Wealthfront. I wish it was, but it is a high yield savings account with 5% APY. So basically you earn 5% interest on, let's say you have $10,000 sitting in your high yield savings account. You earn 5% interest on that every single month. So I put some money into a high yield savings account, and I've been earning 5% every month, and I've earned a few $100s in just a couple months, and that's free money. So if you don't have a high yield savings account, I think that's a great place to start. Don't come to me for financial advice by any means, but I think it's a good place to start if you don't want to get a financial advisor and start doing I don't even know, stocks, investments in that sense. A high yield is a great place to start. You just can keep your money in there, you earn interest on it, and then you can obviously withdraw it whenever. There's no like, you don't have to have it in there a certain amount of time. I was hesitant to get one because again, it felt like, oh my God, putting my money somewhere else other than like my main bank accounts was so scary to me. But I got it and I'm so glad I did. I made like little buckets. I have a home bucket and then I have like a taxes bucket where I'm saving for maybe someday a house and obviously to pay my taxes and things like that. So highly recommend a high yield savings account. That's something I did this year. I started doing little investments in the market because my parents were like, Taryn, you need to start doing this, because now that I don't work a corporate job, I don't have like a 401k and a lot of the benefits for retirement that come with corporate jobs. So I realized, holy shit, I really need to be making sure that I am like saving and putting away money for retirement since I don't have those benefits anymore. A Roth IRA, that's also something I did this year for the first time. It's a tax advantage investment account that helps you save for retirement and reduce taxes. Basically, you can max out your Roth IRA and then they can't tax that. So those contributions will sit and you can grow them, but the IRS can't tax it. So someday when you're older, you can use that money and it's untaxed. So I highly recommend a Roth IRA. That's also something that I did. But yeah, basically just trying to be better with my money in 2024 so that future Taryn and future cats and future, hopefully, family can be set up for success someday. And hopefully maybe someday I can buy a fucking house. I don't know. In this economy, it's probably a bit ambitious, at least in Austin, Texas. Okay, so those are the things, guys. One-sided friendships, comparing myself to my old self, comparing myself to others on social media, eating out, so random, but like true. It was a bad habit, it still is. Giving a shit what people think about me, going to therapy, and avoiding my finances. Those are the things I talked about back in December on TikTok, and I wanted to revisit them today and give you guys an update on how I'm doing and remind you that if you failed at your New Year's resolutions or they haven't gone according to plan, it's fine. You don't need to wait till the new year to like change anything in your life. I kind of think that New Year's resolutions can be a little crock of shit sometimes because it like puts so much pressure on you to like be a better person and make all these changes and do all this shit when the new year starts. And then if you fail at them, you're like, fuck, I feel like shit. I think it just puts too much pressure on you. And I'm someone that when there's pressure on me, I just crack and I can't do it. Like I need to do things at my own pace when I want, how I want. And I just maybe think for a girly with ADHD like me, New Year's resolutions are not the most realistic. So yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm happy that there are some changes I made there based off of some of the stuff that I shared. But for the most part, I haven't done the best job and I'm recognizing that. And you know what? I'm going to try to be better. I'm probably not going to be perfect. Definitely not going to be, but I'm going to try to be better throughout the rest of the year on some of these things, especially about, you know, social media and comparing my life and feeling like very lost kind of sense of self and comparing myself. That's something I really, really, really want to try to be better at. And I feel like now just speaking it into the microphone, like I said, how I do in therapy, like just speaking it out makes it feel more realistic. And then it like sticks in my brain for the next couple of days. And I actually think about it and reflect on it rather than just like the thought popping in and me just pushing it away. So maybe this is like a little therapy session for myself that I needed, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And just remember, if you want to make a change in your life, you don't need to wait for the new year. You don't need to wait for the new week or the new month. You can do it whenever you want to. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can always start again. Okay. I can be like that where I start something and I fail. So I'm like, it's over. Fuck, I failed. No. What I've learned recently is you need to just start again. Like when it comes to the podcast, there's been so many days where I've recorded and I'm like, oh my God, I fucking suck at this. Like this is over for me. But then the next day I'm like, bitch, just try again. And it goes okay. And that's the same with social media for me. It's the same with work for me. It's the same with starting the agency, it's relationship. Like there's so many times where I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like this is clearly not for me. And it's just yourself telling you that you can't, but you can. You just have to do it again. Nothing hits the first time for me. Like I've never once been able to start a habit and start a routine and have it just like work out. Like I always have to fail and try again. But I also think that's part of being an ADHD girly. I'm sure there are people out there that can just like start habits and like stick to them, but not me. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this episode. Wanted to be real with you, wanted to open up about how I've been feeling about some stuff recently. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. If you listened to this full episode, you are so amazing. You mean the world to me. I appreciate every single one of the Tearing It Up listeners out there. We really tore up a bunch of I think important shit today. And it makes me happy to reflect on these things, even though it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows. If you liked this episode, give me a rate, give me a follow, subscribe if you're on YouTube. One big forehead kiss to you. Thank you for listening to Tearing It Up. Sometimes with my outros, I be dragging the shit out. Okay, bye.